Dance and move. Yeah, just dance. Do some dabs like the young kids do. You know.
I was just dabbing yesterday. Actually, I have on the Marco Polo app. I don't know if you're familiar with Marco Polo. No. Are we doing this? Is this live?
We're live. I'm with Michael, Donovan, Repasky of the RePasadynsky team.
Yeah, the hottest commercial real estate team that you've never heard of.
We're on the Big Bad Listing Daddy and Friends podcast / video YouTube thingy that I do. Sensation. I get, I don't know, 10 listeners and viewers a week, which is pretty sweet. I mean, you got to start somewhere. It can't be 100 right off the rip.
4 of those are your kids.
I made them all dummy YouTube profiles. Even Jack's got one.
Yeah. Smash that subscribe and like button, folks.
I had the, I don't think I told you this, but you know my wife.
I do.
We've met her a couple times.
Met her, yeah.
She's a very wonderful lady.
She is?
I think she hates her husband.
Yeah. And her husband's friends, I think, as well.
We can talk about that story later.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
She was like watching something on YouTube a couple days ago, and I was just like walking through the room, and it kind of sounded like me. So I was like, "Oh wow, that's really nice of you to like watch my YouTube video." And she's like, she looked up from her phone, like dead. It was like the best dig I think I've ever gotten from somebody. She looks at me and she goes, "Oh, you're still doing that?" And I was just like, It's like 9:30 at night. I was just like, "Oh, she crushed
you,
just destroyed me."
Yeah. That's how you know she's the one.
You were the team leader of both the Pepper Pike and Rocky River offices.
I am.
At Keller Williams Metropolitan.
That is my primary function.
Let's go through. You know what? We're just gonna start out right off the rip. How many Excel spreadsheets do you have that you use on let's say a weekly basis?
On a weekly basis, counting Google Sheets as well.
Yeah, for sure. You got to combine both of them.
I mean, right now on my computer, I've got a dozen open Google Sheets. I have a whole web browser that's just dedicated to Google Sheets. I have, two spreadsheets that get used every Friday for tracking all of my expenses, and obviously the network tracking that's actually a little over an hour from now. As soon as markets close, we'll stamp it for another week.
I liked,
so I would say dozens. It's easily north of 20.
When COVID hit last year, we Zoom happy houred each other.
We did
because we just had to just talk the talk and have fun.
That was right. That was a riot.
Yeah, I drank a lot of Four Roses. That was the night I came up with all that Tiger King stuff because I got so drunk on the Zoom. I was like, hey, let me throw this all together. But you gave us like an insight of your life, and you showed us your expense sheet, and you had it expended all the way down to the touch tunes we play inside of a bar.
Yeah, that gets categorized as media. So that is a media purchase. So I can track, and I would say that there is, if you go by day, the last Friday of every month, there's a spike.
There's a spike
in media.
Yeah, we like to hit the touch tunes players the last Friday of every month.
Yeah. I mean it's a
lot of Dwight Yoakam.
It's a qualification for any stop on the final Friday happy hour, right?
It's got to have a touch tune.
Got to have a touch tunes.
Yeah, we got to have the stock songs that we play.
They recently updated the app. You can do a playlist. You can tag your favorites, and that way I don't have to search for the same 10 songs every time. I can just
perfect. I didn't know that. Now I gotta put that in for myself. So we met each other. Oh my God! Congratulations! I think 2 years for you at Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan.
That's right, 2 years.
If I'm thinking about it,
just over 2 years.
Just over 2 years. The first time we ever broke bread is still a great story. I made you come out to Vermilion with me.
That's right. My first ever listing appointment.
That was your first ever commercial listing appointment.
First ever commercial listing.
So it was me, you, and Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to a listing appointment, and then Eddie left, and I made you get dinner with me because I had to vet you.
That's right.
Like Goodfellas. I had to see what kind of man you were.
That's right.
And
we went to
the Vermilion Boat Club.
The Vermilion Boat Club.
Which the Chase boys are big fans of because they're both members over there.
Yeah.
Prior to me selling houses, I used to flip steaks in my former life. Yeah. So I still have some pull in the restaurant industry.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is nice. So we went over there and got dinner, and I, at the time, had 2 children.
You did?
And I am very used to just eating over a trash can, because not only did you do that in the kitchen, but when you have children, you have no time to eat.
Yeah. Unless you dirty a plate and then, hear about it.
Yeah, exactly. So we went to dinner.
Yep.
I ordered a steak.
It was,
And you ordered jambalaya.
It was the cheapest thing on the menu.
Yeah, even though it was my treat, but you still got like the $13 plate of jambalaya, and you proceeded to eat it in 7 seconds.
I am aware of my issue, that I am a very fast eater. It is...
And you have to tell us why you're a fast eater, because when you told me why you were a fast eater, it all made sense.
Yeah.
But I was astonished because I was maybe a quarter of the way through my steak. Yeah. And you had eaten a giant steaming plate of jambalaya.
There was no time to let it cool. So I am the youngest of 3 boys, youngest and smallest of 3 boys, and the household that I grew up in was one that believed in the clean plate club exclusively, and you could not have seconds until you cleaned your plate from the first round of serving. So, there was usually enough for some seconds, but not all seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you finished eating, you get seconds, but you were racing against 2 large and temperamental individuals every night.
What's the year splits between your brothers?
My oldest brother is 5 years older than me,
okay.
And then the middle one is 3 years older than me.
Okay.
So they're about 18 months apart. So they were always really good friends.
Yes, and you were just the little. You're the little shit kid running around, following them everywhere. Yeah. Which, like, when you told me that story, I was like, oh, all of this makes sense. Yeah. Like, all of it made, like, once you told me that you were the youngest of three brothers, I was like, oh, all that makes sense.
And I try. Like, I had lunch with an agent just on Tuesday, and they had not even dressed their salad, and I was done. Right? They were just, like, getting everything sorted out, and I mean, boom, done. So then I just sit there and watch me. It's probably a big part of the reason I'm single, right? Can you imagine that on a date?
I would think. Well, I think there's a bunch of reasons that you're single. But I don't think we need to get into. But yes, one of them is that eating incredibly fast, because I think it makes the other person feel weird, because now you're focused on them while they're eating, and you're not eating at the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you need to.
Most people have meals like they're playing catch.
Yes.
Right.
Like you take a bite,
and I take some bites, and me. It's just a 100-meter dash. Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. So speaking of your home life, there was all sorts of fun stuff out of that. You grew up on a farm, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Grew up out in the country, 100 acres. Parents still have it.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful place. Still running on what is effectively dial-up internet. It is no cell phone service out there.
Yeah,
they're very, very, very poor. Mm. One bar. If you're lucky. Yeah. Elon Musk will fix that eventually, I'm sure.
What's the I vaguely remember this, was it a chicken story that you told me?
Ah, yes. The
I want to hear this. There's a couple stories that I'd like to hear from you.
Okay, yeah.
One of which is the chicken story. So you grew up on a farm.
We had chickens and rabbits and horses and sheep and for a brief period of time. But the chickens, as the youngest, those was my primary responsibility, was collecting the eggs and feeding the chickens in the morning, right? And so, as a 5-year-old apparently would do, I got, attached and invested in these chickens. And then the time came, as early 90s, economic recession. Gotta make some decisions. Work is inconsistent for mom and dad. So my parents took me out to the chicken coop one morning and explained to me that we were going to be slaughtering some of the chickens, and that I would get to choose which chickens that I wanted to remain unslaughtered. Mm-hmm. Of course, I pitched a big fit. And
you're 5.
I'm 5, right? And I'm just now
because you were in charge of feeding them.
Yeah. These were my chickens. These were my chickens. I was going out there getting the eggs every day. Yep. You had the black chicken. It was kicking chicken. He would always try and kick you. It was good. And then just a bunch of standard chickens. But they all had names. They were all my friends, my only friends. And so I refused to decide, and my parents, as a learning opportunity for me, a teaching moment, they slaughtered 100% of the chickens, and that was my first experience with mortality, and with understanding the importance of being decisive. Right?
Yeah, you got to make it. You have to make a decision. They gave you the choice.
Gave me the opportunity. Right?
Yes. Yeah. And you decided to do nothing.
We have to be responsible for our actions and then the consequences as well.
Yeah.
That was the consequence. And I think that was the birth of my path towards high executive function. Right?
Yeah, which is fun. This is another fun thing we get to talk about because you started off as a commercial real estate agent.
I did.
And I could tell very early on. One good thing about me as a sales guy, if I could toot my own horn, is that I do a pretty good job of reading people. And I knew pretty quickly that you hated selling real estate.
I think if you talk to anybody who sells real estate,
they would tell you that they hate selling real estate.
I mean, it's the joke. It's like everybody gets into real estate, and as soon as they get into real estate, they're like, I gotta get out. I gotta still make all this money, but I don't actually want to do that.
But I want to do that. Yes.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, because it's like the chicken coop story. It's the butcher story. Everybody sees these people on Instagram. They're like, oh, look at this. Look at how great they are selling $1 million of houses every year, and they don't know how the sausage is made in the back. Everyone thinks they're just the head of the butcher counter and they never have to walk into the back.
That's a great analogy. I've never heard that one.
You never heard that one before? No. Oh, I thought I've said that before. No, nobody wants to know how the sausage is made.
Well, that's the larger issue with literally everything that goes on social media, right? Is, okay, you see under contract and closed posts.
Yes.
Just listed, just sold, right? You never, I don't know who's posting about, cleaning out somebody's crawl space with a bunch of newspapers from pre-World War II.
Yeah, and there's people that do that.
There's
real estate agents that do all sorts of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and they
helping move things for people.
But it's not just like handing off keys, right? And I think that look, at some point in our lives, we realize that that's anything, right? Yeah. Anywhere I've worked, right,
there are things that you like about your job, and there are things that you hate about your job. Everybody does.
Right. And I think that,
universal.
We live in a world that people get celebrated for the desserts, and nobody gets celebrated for the vegetables.
Yeah.
Nobody even shows you that they're eating vegetables.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't eat vegetables, but
there was always a running joke because I've talked to Ginter and Scott about this. Quite a bit, and I'll sell anything from Vermilion to East Cleveland. You put a trailer somewhere and I can sell it. I'll put my sign in the front yard and I'll sell it.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of people in this industry that'll just be like, I don't want to deal with that. But I was always a person that was like, if I could, I'll run $50,000 buyers in a city. It's not about what the price range is necessarily. It's how much time you have to spend running that person, because everyone, if you're a high level real estate agent, you understand it takes X amount of time to get a deal done. It takes X amount of showings, it takes X amount of contracts, whatever you're working on. And I was always a person that, if you do a really great buyer's consultation with somebody, you can show them 4 houses and sell them and get them under contract on one of them. And you have effectively spent 3 hours showing someone a house and got them under contract. And your per hour rate is very high in that instance. But I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Well, I think that, that's part of the evolution of on everybody's journey as like a business owner. And you see it all the time and you probably have a lot of great examples from when becoming a parent, right? You just have to be more efficient. Things just aren't going to get done. You eat over a trash can. Right? Okay. Yes. You do that. But, and at a certain point in your business, and I think that, it's especially difficult for people who come from maybe corporate environments, right? Because you either still feel like you need to be in the office until 5 every day, right? Or you swing the pendulum all the way to the other side, and you're like, who needs a calendar, right? Just saying that out loud gives me anxiety. But I think that you go through that and you start to identify what are the money making activities, and then what are the activities. And look. it's all like the detail. All that stuff matters. It just doesn't matter the same.
It doesn't, and that was what I liked. I took Bold once, and Pat Mancuso was the Bold, and he was fantastic. And the funny thing is that we all had to be there, and he was very open. Like, I'm going to be here a half an hour earlier than class starts.
Yeah.
And you can show up and ask me whatever questions you want. And you're in a room full of like, I don't know how big
80 to 100?
I think it was even more than that.
It could be 120. I think they're like 120.
I think they were that big. And there was maybe 25 people there to talk to a guy who makes 6 figures every year just on his downline.
Yeah, it makes 6 figures walking around telling people how to make 6 figures.
Yeah,
I mean that's the best thing in the world is like you want to make a lot of money writing a book. You write a book about how to make a lot of money.
Yes,
and then boom, people buy it, and it's just
that's why I made that joke during the week on my Facebook page. I don't know if you saw that, but the guy that married Ariana Grande is a real estate agent, and I said the best way to make money in real estate is to marry someone that's already rich.
Yeah, I mean, it's
nothing better than that.
Very true. Now Ariana Grande.
She's a musician.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of her song.
I don't think I know. Carly, do you know any Ariana Grande songs?
Rain on Me with Lady Gaga.
Boom. There we go.
I'd say
this is why we keep her around.
That's right. Well, that's like number 110 probably.
Yeah. Yes.
Lady Gaga.
I like her music.
I like her music. Yeah. I mean,
really good jamming to it.
Yeah, and I feel like those are few and far between are the people like her. You can even take it. We could cross it over into our industry, right? There are people who, but like every song she makes is like
a hit.
But it's like there's no throwaways.
No,
right? It's not like we need a new. I mean, we need a new Maroon 5 summer song, right?
And they're just like pumping it.
We got Maroon 5 has the next 40 years. Like every June, it's like, all right, here's a song of the summer.
Yep.
I mean, seriously. But for her, like everything that she's doing. Like it's all like they're all like epic and it's grand and it's big, I mean, like it's like you got like the Elton Johns and the Rod Stewarts, like the big people. Like I couldn't. I mean, maybe an Ariana Grande is like getting some summer hits.
So just a couple here.
She's making a living. I mean, Ariana, if you're watching, like no disparagement there. But it's the same thing about like the way that we're talking about people approaching transactions or the way that people engage in the actual process of real estate is like, The other thing that's interesting is on that point is like not remembering how significant the payday is in real estate.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's like if you do things right, you can show people 4 houses, right?
Yes.
But if you had to show them a 5th house, it's also like okay, it's a 5th house.
Yeah.
So there's also like this this exasperation with like the level of effort required, and it's like.
All I'm doing is opening up houses sometimes.
But I mean, also it's like
I'm there really to I always kind of tell people I'm there mostly to negotiate the best deal that I can help them negotiate, and then I'm also there for the process to go through where it needs to go through because there's a lot of people that just drop balls constantly.
Yeah, I think that
which is amazing.
Yeah, and also it's funny. I mean, you talk to any experienced agent, any successful agent, and it's like we were just talking to Jeremy before this, and it's like deals blow up, deals fall apart. You got to keep them together. I mean, like that's what you have to do.
Yes,
like that's it's just
we have a common real estate attorney that we love to talk to, Justin Stevenson, and his deal exploded a bunch of times, and I kept it together way longer than it should have been kept together.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: like, if there weren't problems in the transactions, we wouldn't have jobs. Like those, if those problems in the transactions add value.
Yeah.
Right. Rough seas make good sailors, right? And so, and look, I mean, that's why this industry also chews people up and spits them out, and it's a sink or swim environment. All those cliches, but I think that like. And you've navigated some doozies, right?
Boy, have I ever!
Or you've been fired by a client. Or you had you had a deal fall apart.
And then they fire you
a week before, and it's like
Yep.
You never should, but you're thinking like, oh, this is a payday. Coming next week, I'll have money.
I don't have. I always joke with people. It's not a payday until the title transfers.
It's fun. Colleen in our office, she said. So I was having dinner with her and we were talking, and she's like, got this on her contract. And I was like, oh, congratulations. She's like, you sign contracts, just sign contract.
Yep.
You don't have a deal. You gotta sign contracts.
I'm the same way. I don't count that chicken until I don't even like.
Chickens, right?
Yeah, the chicken. Back to the chickens.
Yeah. Don't count the chickens until they're slaughtered.
I hate putting like under contract posts on my Facebook and Instagram page because I feel like I'm jinxing myself.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect game that I don't want to jinx.
And I guess has that always been a thing? Like we're like in the 90s and 2000s, we're like realtors walking around the office high-fiving for under contracts.
I don't know.
Is this the evolution of the participation ribbon?
Well, I think what a lot of it is that and this is why I do this and why I put myself on stupid Tiger King memes. Not only is it my personality and I think it's funny, but I also find that I sell a lot of real estate. Yeah. And I don't really need to post all of that on my Instagram and Facebook pages because it just does. That's not important. That's not as important to me as everything else.
Yeah, I think that there is
and I think people
there's
just
a Venn diagram of capability, right? Like the you get the job done, but then like authenticity in that overlap. Because look, if it was just about whoever sold the most houses, like. You got a couple lifetimes to catch a few people in the market.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And so it's the less authentic, the less character, the less it's experiential for your client. Mm-hmm. I mean, the more that as the industry evolves and technology becomes more integrated, the fact that if you just make your transaction, as clean and simple and painless and one click away, it's the easiest one to steal. Yeah. Right? But when it's like they want to do business with you and a problem comes up and you deal with it and you talk to them, you explain it to them, you do all those things, communication is the relationship, right? Yes, exactly. And so I think that's great. And look, you may not get clients because of your face. We've talked all over the place.
We've talked about that. There are certainly people that probably would not want to work with me because they think I'm ridiculous. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm already vetting those people out because we're not going to get along at all through that transaction. It's just going to be tough for us to work with each other to get anything done.
Yeah, and I think this approach it like a relationship. That's right? Exactly what it is. You know what I mean? And
every transaction is its own individual business transaction. And it's the snowflake analogy.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the thing
each one's different.
The thing in this industry that doesn't necessarily, I don't, any sales site, any sales based industry has this, but it's not every sales based industry has a forever appreciating future transactions, right? Yeah. Nor the duplication of transactions, right? Like you get one buyer, it's the reason that, any buyer is a good buyer, right? Mm-hmm. At any price point, I should say. Yeah. If they're willing to do what it takes to buy.
Exactly.
Because eventually they're going to sell, right? Yes.
Or they have a family member that wants to sell. Or
we've heard those stories a thousand times. But, it's funny, or
they can win the lottery in 2 weeks.
That's right. They could win Vax-A-Million.
They can get a Vax-A-Million.
Vax-A-Million. I got to fill mine out. I got jabbed. I got jabbed on Wednesday.
Look at you finally doing it. You wanted that sweet lottery.
For the record, I was scheduled prior to the lottery. But based on my roots, I wouldn't put it past that. Guernsey County's having a spike in vaccinations this week.
I was going to say, I don't think Guernsey. Yeah, they probably do. I mean, it did. It hit its intended effect.
It worked.
Like people's vaccinations spiked in Ohio.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, there's
$1 drawing.
It's an interesting thing to think about. Like the people who the bottleneck initially, right? Like the people who really wanted it, really needed it, really had it. And then they got it, right? And it's amazing rollout. The Wolstein Center was really awesome. Mm-hmm. And we just hit this like malaise where it's like,
we're good.
Yeah, I mean, and quite honestly, the reason that I hadn't got it yet was just because it wasn't on my calendar. And like every time I like open up the webpage to do it, it was just like, Jesus, like, where
we're going to fit this in.
Yeah, right? And so all I did was I asked Julia coming, and I was just like, look, just schedule me and just like tell me when I have to go.
Tell me when to show up. Yeah,
she did, and because it's like there's always something else to do. Or I'm like, I want to leave that Wednesday open. I'm supposed to do X with somebody, and it's like no, and it took 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So it was it's good. The wing's a little sore, but I tell you, I had no reaction to the first one, which I know you're not supposed to have. But
No, I had a little bit of a fever, but other than that, I was good.
I was so hungry. I was so hungry.
But you're always hungry.
I know, but I mean, like I went home and I ate dinner, and then I ate another dinner, and then I ate more food after that.
You're like a hobbit from
yeah,
Lord of the Rings
yeah.
book.
Second breakfast.
Second breakfast.
Yeah.
Do you ever find it odd that we KPA'd like almost exactly to a T?
That we're that similar.
Pretty much.
It's
a little weird, right?
It is. You know, Scott is also.
Yeah, we're all kind of like similar in our KPAs. The three of us.
Yeah, but it's funny because like we're all like that's the interesting thing about the KPA.
We all do things vastly differently.
Very, very different people, very different lifestyles, very different personalities. Like but it's it's like the you think about like so the KPA is personality, in the sense of the way that you accomplish things, like the way that you react to situations, right? And so, you get the KPA that's, specific to Keller, very, very cool that, there's the probabilities of like, how good you would be in specific roles. And
that's like the first thing we use now at the Golden Group to hire.
Oh,
It's just to know right off the rip, like what type of personality you are.
Well, and look, it doesn't mean that look, there are people that score very low as rainmakers and are great rainmakers.
And are still great rainmakers, exactly.
And so it's the match is a probability. What is the likelihood, right? And so if somebody's got a low likelihood, they could still be good, but you are aware of that now, of being a successful team agent. If they got a high likelihood, it's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee.
Right? And it's funny because you talk to people and they're like, oh, this person was a high match for a transaction coordinator, and then they didn't work out. And it's like, okay.
They could hate doing what they were doing. Like even though they tested well for it.
Exactly.
They could have just hated every single minute of doing that job.
But I like I do all that stuff from the, know thyself, right?
Yeah.
So you got the Myers-Briggs type indicator, right? And that is the ESTJ, right?
Yep.
Introvert, extrovert. Then there's the DISC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is the communication style.
Yes.
It's always very interesting because like each one of them touches on a different thing. Like the Myers-Briggs type indicator is like the way that you manage, or the way you do relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sensing, judging, thinking, feeling, all that stuff. Maybe that's the decision making, and then it's got the extrovert. You got DISC is communication style, and then the KPA is personality assessment, right?
Yeah.
More transactional, I think. And then you have the Enneagram. Right, so the Enneagram is very interesting, right? I went way down a rabbit hole.
I'm sure you did. I know how you are.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like
you probably spent a whole weekend on it.
Oh my God! I've got books. I've read books. I've taken it. Everybody's taken it. I try and identify everybody.
Yeah.
But what it does is there are 9 different types, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is pegged to motivation.
Oh, that's
right.
I'd like to now. That's an interesting sounding test.
Yeah, so you've got the perfectionist, the helper, the achiever, the romantic or artist, the engineer investigator, the investigator, the problem solver, the enthusist. Okay.
I would probably fall under problem solver and enthusiast, right?
I'll tell you what you are. The 8's the leader.
Okay.
And then 9 is the peacemaker.
Okay.
Right? And so then you
the peacemaker definitely is not
1 through 9, right? But so you can shade towards the other one. So
yes.
You're probably 7 wing 8 is where I would put you.
Okay.
Right. So you're you're an enthusiast, zest for life. Like let's go. With a wing towards the
leadership role. I can see that.
Yeah. So I'm a 8 wing 7.
Okay.
Right. So my foundation is in the
leadership role,
get stuff done. Mentality, which is interesting because then you get into like the mistyping where it's like 8's mistype is 3's, right? Because 3's are achievement oriented, right? Yep. And so they're focused on the size of the prize, they want nice cars, they want, big houses, stuff like that, and which usually puts them in roles and doing things that like look and feel like an 8, right? But it's about motivation. Like, why are they doing those things? Like, because they want the nice car, because they want the nice watch, because they want to, have a boat or whatever, right? Versus the 8 who is probably more of a psychopath in the sense that they just do it because they are empty inside.
Yeah, which rolls us back to the first couple of months we met each other. I was still, it's a dance.
Yeah.
Each other out.
Yeah.
I think like one day I just looked at you and I go, "What's with the white shirts?"
Yeah. And
I was like, "What's wrong with you?"
You first one to notice.
I think I was the first one to notice.
You were the first one.
I was just like, I'm gonna kick this door in because I need to know. And then you sent me a picture of your closet, and I think I laughed for an hour straight.
Yeah. So when my first job out of school, working in an office, and
you worked in an office first. I remember because I
worked for my college fraternity.
Okay,
right?
that's right. That's right. You did that. Okay.
That was my first. And so the first year that I was there, I was traveling. I traveled the Mid-Atlantic, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey.
Okay.
Right. Number one thing to do in New Jersey is to leave.
I haven't been there very much. I've driven through it one time to get to like New York City or whatever, and it's
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
So it's really 3 states. Right, is the way I would describe it, and only one of them is New Jersey, which the part that I would describe as New Jersey is actually quite nice. Where Princeton is, it's like horse country, right?
It's much different.
It's gorgeous, and then you go to South Jersey, southern Jersey, and then you're in Philly. It's just Philadelphia.
Yeah, you're in Philly.
It's in Philly. It's like Delaware. The whole state of Delaware is just Philly. Philly, the whole state of Delaware, Philly. And then like some occasional rednecks.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, they're sprinkled
And then northern New Jersey is New York City.
Yes.
It's New York. But it's like, it's the high class. It's New York, right? It's different. Like, it's not like I'm walking here, It's not that.
You're not.
You're not walking around Hoboken doing this, right? But it's still.
Eat the sausage. Look at me.
Get a slice. I'm having a slice. So... but then after that, I managed the traveling staff. And so I lived in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
But it was, suit and tie every day, right? And
really?
So, it was, shave every day.
Wow. I would have already been like, nah, I can't have this job.
Yep. And I mean, like...
You can't hide this mustache from the world.
Despite our best efforts. So I kept razors in the bathroom in the office. The guy forgot to shave.
You'd have to shave right in there.
You have to go to the restroom, shave. Yeah.
It's like playing for the Yankees.
Yeah. And so you start to make a little bit of money. You go, and I got to buy suits and stuff, and you get shirts, and you got to wear ties, and then you're wasting tens of seconds in the morning figure out, does this shirt go with this suit and this tie and all that.
You're correct. I mean, there's a lot of you got to match right. You can't look like an idiot out there.
Can't look like an idiot, right? Because then I don't care how great the dimple in the tie is. It
doesn't matter
if if you're power clashing, right?
Yeah, it's not going to work,
right? So.
So you went right with white. What was your tie color then? If you had a white shirt,
I have a red, a blue, and a gold.
Okay. Oh, so you spiced it up a little on the interior.
I don't know if it's really spicing it up. I mean, the gold tie with the blue suit, and the blue tie with the blue suit, and the red tie with the black suit, with the gray suit, right? Do you ever
like when I talk to you about the things that I do and the things that happen to me? Are you ever like, God, I can't even imagine this?
Yeah, I mean, I can't fathom. Like, there's a great, fantastic agent in our office. She was at the happy hour last night, Janet Hayward, and she capped in 10 months for first 10 months with the company, capped, right? She is a full-time human resources professional.
Oh,
she sold like 24 homes, right? In like 10 months.
Yeah.
So less than that, but she's $3 million production, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Has 4 kids, right? Monday night, I forgot to eat dinner, right? Like, I was busy, it was late, I woke up on Tuesday morning, I was like, oh, God, man, like, I'm starving. I was like, I didn't eat last night. Like, I forgot to feed myself. And this woman's raising 4 children and has 2 careers that are more successful than any of my one career, right? And so it just, like, I cannot imagine. Right, like what are you doing? What's it like to walk home? Like, walk into your house?
So normally my wife is staring at me because she's in the midst of God knows what. We have a trampoline in our backyard and a playground, so most of the kids like to come over to our house. So not only is it our children, but then it's like the 2 other boys down the road.
But that's cool. So you're like that. I'll tell you, I got a buddy.
We're the house.
So people are you met him at the shooting match, and he said that, I mean, that's like he built his entire house as like, this is like sleepovers in high school or junior high and all that?
Yeah.
This house.
Here, yeah.
Turf floor in his basement with 10-foot ceilings, so
that's
there's
sweet.
indoor soccer.
That's sweet.
It's amazing,
Yeah.
right? But it's like, why the kids would never want to hang out anywhere else.
No, they'd come over all the time, and then we got to have the house stacked full of snacks. Costco runs all weekly.
Solid snack. Yeah, that was.
But it's like a zoo. Imagine what a zoo's like. Like, imagine being a zookeeper. That's what it's like coming home for me.
Yeah.
One of the twins is probably screaming. Sophia probably hurt herself doing a cartwheel.
Yeah.
Mikey is wrestling his friends.
Yeah.
In the other room.
Yeah.
One of the twins is, eating whatever scraps of food fell on the floor from the other big kids.
You have dogs?
I don't have dogs, and I don't
cats.
I have 2 cats.
You have 2 cats.
Yeah, I don't want dogs because we have too much already. I'll get a dog when all the kids stop loving their dad. You know how they go through that teenage angst, and they're just like, "Oh, our parents stink." Well, every kid, you're like, mom and dad. I can't believe I gotta live here with them.
Yeah, I went through that when I was like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after they murdered all those chickens, what else are you gonna do?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's bonkers. It's bonkers over where I live. It's craziness.
That's
You've been there.
crazy.
You were in the front yard.
Yeah, that was.
Why don't you tell that story?
Yeah, that was great. So we were prepping for Final Friday happy hour and enjoying a couple of bush lattes.
Yes.
In the front yard.
Mm-hmm. In the front yard
of your very affluent neighborhood. And me, you, and Mr. Stevenson.
Yeah.
And we were having a great time.
Mm-hmm.
And your wife came home with 4 children.
Yes.
And your son, Mikey, he hopped out of the back, and he's just skipping his way into the house with his Happy Meal.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Hey, Dad." You're like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" You're like, "Mom's mad. Your friends are here." And
I think you could hear Randy sigh from the other side of the car.
Oh my God, that her sigh was so heavy that it blew a sailboat off course. It was remarkable because she had probably been dealing with all of this all day long.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's a school teacher, so she teaches high school kids, and then she has 5 children at home. Because I'm the oldest.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah,
and then the
least well behaved.
The least well behaved.
Yeah. She shows up after a long week of being mother to half a dozen people and finds a bunch of degenerates in her front yard. Well, in full sight of the neighbors.
In full sight of the neighbors.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, but that's
one of the best things that we've put together.
The Final Friday Happy Hour. Yeah, that is well into its 2nd year.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah, 15 months in. I mean, survived a pandemic.
We survived. We should. Yeah. We have to get 1 year anniversary pins or something.
We should.
All rock them together.
We should. Actually, last month would have been the 12th time we've done it because we missed 2.
Yeah, we missed a couple. We missed one on
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, just for the holidays.
Yeah.
We couldn't be degenerates during the holidays.
Yeah, it was being going to your house on Christmas Day was I think an option.
It was an option. But I got COVID.
That's what it was.
Yeah, so you guys couldn't come.
Ah, man, I forgot about that. But the rounds of the Zoom happy hours, I don't think I will ever do that again. Like I always.
We would start drinking at like 2:30 on Zoom together.
Yeah, I just joked it's like if I ever want to sit around and watch people drink on TV, I'll just stand in front of a mirror. I'll
just watch myself.
Yeah, right. But it was it was weird. Like it was March, right, and April.
Yeah.
And nothing was open. You couldn't do anything.
You couldn't do anything anyways. And then as soon as they opened things back up, we were out again in May.
Oh man, I was willing to crawl through the vents to get back into the office, because that's. It's
hard work. It's I know a lot of people love working from home. For me, it's hard because I like to have in-person conversations with people.
Yeah,
but that's because that's my type of personality.
Yeah.
So I can see why a lot of people loved staying at home because they didn't have to. I can make small talk with anybody. Like you could legitimately tell me to walk out into that street now, and I can meet some random person and start talking to them.
Yeah,
that's
great.
And there's a lot of people that get anxiety about that.
Right.
Like they'll make themselves sick over having to talk to somebody they've never met before.
Yeah,
which is interesting to me.
So you're a high extrovert.
Yes.
Like you get energy from it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So on the disc profile, this was always a fun conversation because I never realized it because I always said I'm a bull in a china shop. And I do rub people the wrong way quite a bit, which is a shock to you, right? It's probably a shock.
I never would, but it's not the way I live my life.
But Scott, during a meeting, made a very good point, and I never thought about it, and I've changed a little bit, but not a lot, because it's never gonna fully change. Yeah. But you have to remember that, like, even though you're a D or an I or an S or a C, you're gonna interact. Like, if you're a D, you're gonna have to eventually interact with a C. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you go about doing that? And I was like mind blown. I was like, I don't curb any of that edge.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Which is what I love about you and Scott, is that you guys are great at mirror matching. Yeah. Wonderful at it.
Yeah. Yeah. The hardest one is the S, I think.
I would agree with that.
Steadiness is the hardest one to to get in the boat with. But yeah, that's that's something that was very fortunate to learn. Early in my career, was that, like, it's not about you. Like,
it isn't.
Everybody's walking around thinking about them, and when you start to look at things that way, you can. And I think that being in a sales organization brings it out more than anything else, and being like business owner brings it out more than anything else, because when I was in the corporate environment, like, I'm a corner D, like, I'm a 99 D, and like negative 1,000 or whatever. Like, there's zeros across the board. It's just D.
It's right? Just that. Yeah.
And so, like, that works in a hierarchical environment. Yes. And it's like, but like, to an extent. Right? Yep. Like, and that's.
You have to figure out how to interact, because which one is the majority of the population?
Majority of 75% of the population is an S or a C.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So because I'm a high D and a high I.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of both.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah. So you're like right on the middle of that.
I'm like, yeah. So I never thought about it that way, like, ever.
Yeah. Well,
and one of the few things I learned, like, early on in sales, and it was very tough for me, was to shut up.
It's the hardest thing to do.
I hate silence. And I don't know if it's just like if I'm nervous about silence, or I feel like you're losing control of the conversation. It could be a little bit of both. But I don't know why I like that. So I've had to learn, as I've gotten older, sometimes you just throw your number out there and you shut your mouth. You just look at them.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to figure that out.
I think that it's challenging. And on the sales side, I'm sure for somebody who's done as many deals as you have done, you get into the, the answers, the outcomes, but you still need to let them. I mean, I bet you salespeople are great parents, because think about like our parents looking at us, like, just like a couple idiots. They know all the mistakes we're making. Like, it's great. I talked to my dad, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, so you're doing that, huh?"
Yeah. He's like, "All right, talk to me in 3 months. I'll let you know what you did wrong."
Yeah. It's like, I was just like, got to scrape those knees.
But that's the thing. Like, I had a buyer that just did not want to realize what this market was like, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not doing it. I'm not going to force him into knowing what this market's like. So we would just go out, look at houses, and we would put like certain offers in, and I'd be like, I would just flat out tell him, I was like, I'll write it up, because it only takes me 20 minutes to write up a contract, but we ain't winning.
Yeah.
And after like a couple of those, he was like, all right, we got to figure out how we're going to win these. But like, there's some people that I can tell them up front, like, this is how the market is, and they'll accept that.
Yep.
But there are other people that you can't even drug the horse and bring it to water, because it doesn't want to go.
What is it? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah.
And then
I couldn't even
the
bring
alternative is salt the oats. Salt down his oats.
That's true. Yeah. Eventually, they're going to have to make it to water.
Yeah. Right. And I think that's it's effectively what you did. Right. It was like you it had to hurt. Like, fall in love with a house. Put in an offer that's under
whatever
price,
and then see what happens.
And just but you love this house, and this is you will do whatever it takes, but you want to offer 122 on a 125.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And that's what I did. And I'm
going to do everything I can to get it for you.
Yeah.
And then I can't.
Because you're beholden to your clients ultimately.
Well, no, but it's also like that's a gut wrenching experience. Where it's like
I love this house and I lost it, and if I would have went up $5,000 more, I would have gotten it.
Yeah, and I think that's I can't imagine for the buyers who are legitimately trying. I mean, you got people putting $25,000 over and still losing, right? And just like, the fatigue there has to be brutal.
Yeah, I think we've kind of noticed that a little bit too. Like, I think some people are just like, I'm kind of just done or numb.
That's sort of where, I was, when I moved up here, I was like, oh, I'll buy next year when my lease is up. And that was April.
Look at you.
2020. And so it's like, well,
COVID,
I took 6 more months, right?
And now look at you. You're kicking yourself because you probably found something that you loved at one point last year. Well, you don't love anything.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's like if I could sneak a cot in one of these offices, right?
Oh, you'd live here.
I'd live here.
You'd live here in a second.
It's the shower. That's the hard part.
That's
right?
You could take a bath in that. There's a big enough sink in there. You can just kind of splash yourself.
A sink shower.
Yeah, you got a big enough office. Just throw it in there. Get all the pipes in there.
Oh yeah. It'd get really easy to put a plumbing stack in the corner of this building. Right?
It's perfect.
Yeah,
I can do anything.
Yeah, it's a remodel.
Yeah.
How's that in the budget? I have to do that while Scott's golfing.
One of the other great stories I love is the one about your dad retiring because I think you get your work ethic obviously from your father.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious to hear the painting story that I think everybody else needs to hear. So you've told me stories of your dad, and I've never got to meet him. I'm excited to eventually meet the man.
You will. He'll darken the door here.
He is definitely. Like what they made Bill Brasky after your father.
Yeah.
The Bill Brasky stories are.
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance. So I used to own a bar in Southeast Ohio. There's a pretty good chance that like some writer for SNL
walked in
through,
there,
and was like,
there was no Santa Claus because I ate him.
Because I ate it. They drive an ice cream truck covered in human skulls. But yeah, my old man retired
fresh off retirement, right? How long was he retired when he?
So he finished up in. It was like first week of February 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was doing a job in Texas. And then my mom flew down and they drove back up. They took like 2.5 weeks. And then they did a cruise. And then when they got back from the cruise, COVID hit. Right? And so, he's coming off, pretty much 7/12. So that's what that's like his, like, in the thick of his career, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Just down. Now he's got nothing. Can't go anywhere. Can't do anything. What is he gonna do? He's got a 100-acre farm that, why not put in all new fence and why not? I mean, like he completely disassembled everything and then put it back together, right? Just to make sure it was, could be done.
Sturdy enough.
Yeah, right. And so, of course, he's hasn't been home for a consistent period of time because he traveled with his work for 15 years. So there's all this stuff that he wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 4 weeks of COVID, he knocked it all out. Like he did.
Was like, I got a year's worth of work to do.
Got it done in a month. And one of the things, because he just there's no governor on him, right? And so the story that my mom told.
And if he worked 7/12s, I'm sure he didn't sleep a lot.
No.
There's not a lot of sleep involved. There's probably 6 hours a night.
6 hours a night. Some nights 4.
Yeah.
And it's just like. It's really remarkable.
It's craziness.
Yeah. So one of the projects was we have a finished basement, but then there's the laundry room, right, which is the unfinished and just concrete floor, no tile or anything. And so that's where they wanted to seal the floor, like paint and seal the floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take a couple coats. And so my mom tells the story that she wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning, just gets startled awake. She realizes that there's no one else in bed with her.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, that's weird. Maybe Tom is in the bathroom, right? And he looks, and the master is right there. Nope, nobody there. She gets up, goes to the kitchen. No, he's not in the kitchen. He's not out on the back deck or whatever. Then standing in the kitchen, which is where the stairwell to the basement is,
mm-hmm.
and she just hears ever so faintly this of a roller rolling out paint. And so she goes downstairs, and in the room where there's just a light bulb hanging from the ceiling.
This is how I imagine it, too. There's just one single bulb.
One single bulb, and, everything's taken out, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, and there's no music playing.
That's my favorite part.
No headphones in.
Nothing.
It's just
rolling
it out. And my mom's like,
floor.
Tom, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, what's it look like I'm doing? I'm sealing the floor, painting the floor. She's like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. He's like, yeah, I'll get this one on. It'll cure, and then I'll do the second coat by noon. 1 day job. Oh yeah,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You're retired. Like you have a whole week to get that job done.
Oh yeah, but that's and so then like they do all these projects, they're done, and they're like, this burns, this hurts, right? We're going back to what we started with the chickens. They're like, wouldn't it be great, we just had a few chickens, and we go out there, get the eggs. It's just him and my mom, and they're like, we'll get 4 or 5 chickens, we'll have a few eggs a day, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Maybe get some bunny rabbits, for the grandkids. That'll be fun. At this point, they have just under 100 chickens, and they are breeding rabbits and selling them to the Rural King on a weekly basis.
That's a great idea. Look, now he's found another job. He's employed again.
Yeah. I mean, look, man. It's not surprising. I can't imagine that. I mean, if you were like, okay, after 50 years of working, like,
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, he golfs, he plays cards, he does all that, but I mean, there's still a
bunch of time in the day like that. I think that's everyone's hardest realization is like, what do you do when you retire?
Yeah, but I mean, they're having fun, man. Yeah. They're having a ball.
You could get drunk all day, but that's not good for you when you're 65.
I mean, he's 35 years sober, so.
Well, on that whole thing too.
I don't think Mom would appreciate that.
Just starting it up again.
Yeah. Oh God. That's weird. That'd be a weird thing. Like, I mean, not since I've been born. I mean, my dad's never drank.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's happy to pour you a drink.
Speaking of grandkids, when are you going to settle down and make some of those for your mom and dad? What's going on here?
My brother's got it covered, man. They got it covered. They got.
I had to pin you to the wall on that one.
Yeah. That's not a.
I don't think you'll ever get married.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't. But I mean, I didn't think I'd ever work in real estate.
Yeah, but that's the same thing with me. I never thought I would either.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's one of those things where I'm not closed off, but I'm not necessarily I'm not like trying to go find the one.
Yeah.
Right. Which I don't know. Do people like do that? Do they go like look for the one and then find the one?
No, this isn't How I Met Your Mother. Like you're not Ted just running around trying to find.
I'm not.
You've never.
With that show. Is that's a Barney?
Yeah, Barney Stinson.
Stinson. He wears suits.
He wears suits. Suited up.
You're the suit, baby. You're the suit.
Suited up.
Yeah, all of 2021 is all suits. All suits, all the time. Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it was a.
That was one of the things they asked me.
Move.
They asked me if I wanted to be the team lead, and I said, "Can I wear these shirts?" And they said no. So I said, "Well, I guess it's like."
Well, I guess that's a no.
Yeah, I don't want to get traded to the Yankees then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to keep a beard.
Yeah.
To hell. You see me with a mustache and a beard. What do you think? Come on, really, just hammer me about how ugly I look because I know it's terrible.
No, I mean, I think the beard's definitely a better look.
I told you earlier, I'm trying to guilt myself. I'm trying to take a look at my chin and neck every day.
That's why I keep this thing on here for one day.
It hides the thunder. It hides
all the work I do at the pickle.
That's why I wear these shirts. It hides the thunder.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I mean, that's good. Like those. I mean, anybody who's ever worn one of those shirts knows why people wear them all the time.
Yeah,
because they're fantastic.
Yeah, and that I look like a party. At any given point, I can start partying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just like you look like you probably make friends just with the shirt because they're like you look like a guy that I want to be around, right? I mean,
maybe without the mustache. Without the mustache, maybe.
Yeah.
Without the mustache.
Yeah, but I think what the hell were we talking about?
Everything. Why aren't you getting settled down?
Oh yeah. It's just one of those things where like if I like close my eyes and picture like the few years that I have left.
You're making it really depressing.
Yeah.
You're really taking it to a low point.
Hey man, I tell you what, the joke in college used to be that I would not make it past my 27th birthday, and so like the over under on. I mean, if you would have taken the over, you'd be rich.
Look at you. You're 35, 34, right? Oh, 34. I don't want to age you.
Yeah,
I don't want to age you one extra year.
Yeah.
I got to see the inside of your apartment once. Do you remember this?
I do. Yeah.
And I made fun of you about your bed not being made, and I think I gave you a complex over it.
Yeah. Well, I am a bed maker, right? I mean, I am a bed maker, and you caught me on a.
I caught you on a bad day.
I'm on a bad day.
What did we have a drink of? What was that old liqueur that we tried?
Galliano.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, because I was like, one of the things my dad, one of the projects was like he like cleaned out the attic.
Mm.
Right? And like I come home and he's like, oh yeah, here's like all this liquor that we just had in the attic from when they sold the bar, and it's like root beer schnapps and peach schnapps.
Yeah, stuff from the 80s.
Stuff, awesome. It's
Yeah.
great stuff, right? But then he's also like, here's also a box of everything that you've ever had in this house. You need to decide if you want it or it's getting thrown away.
Well, I can't imagine you having a lot of things anyway. You live pretty minimally.
Yeah, I mean, there was just like stupid stuff left over in a box, like an old lava lamp that I had when I was like 13.
I can't even imagine you having a lava lamp.
Yeah, I mean,
It's really blowing my mind right now.
I mean, I cycled through phases pretty rapidly.
That's the whole mirror and matching thing.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah, well, it's the ability to understand where everybody's at,
Yeah.
you know, on their journey,
Mm-hmm.
and then just replicate it.
I can't.
Find common ground.
My mind's blown right now.
Yeah.
A lava lamp
The
for
lava
Repasky.
lamp. Yeah, I had like a disco theme. You know, like there's like the '70s kind of like Austin Powers.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I made a comeback, and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, I
should
like
do
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that was like, pretty much over and done with pretty quickly.
Yeah,
But then it's like, it's funny, like I'm like throwing away the lava lamp. My mom's like, what are you throwing that away for? You don't want to keep it? Like, I didn't even know I had it. You didn't even know it was a thing. Right?
I'm 32 years old. I guess I'll just throw the lava lamp back in my apartment.
Yeah, right? Like, that's odd. But yeah, the Galliano. So I got all that booze.
Yeah.
So if you're ever like in a tight spot and you're like, where can I get root beer schnapps? Like, I've got 2 bottles.
I've got it stashed. I got it stashed away.
Yeah. The apartment is, I find it to be a comfortable place, but I occasionally receive feedback that, not having a couch
It's a little odd.
is a little odd. Having multiple whiteboards in the living room
It's frightening.
and then having a 8 foot by 4 foot, 12-month calendar.
It's craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Like, it's funny. People who are not like, I don't know, like me, immediate, like you see like just the anxiety wash over them,
Yeah.
right? When they see the calendar, and they're
Mhm.
like,
Oh, what's this?
how do you know things? Like, how do you have things for
A month from now.
11 months from now?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's just, the guy told me as I put on the date, and they're
Yeah.
like, well, but you don't have to think about it right now. I'm like, well, yeah, but I
have to still have it there so I can remember when it comes
so
out.
I'll double book myself.
Yeah. That's why I have this.
I've never been double booked.
I get double booked all the time. But
Yeah.
that's a life of being dad of 4 and trying to run a real estate business
Again,
at the same time.
cannot imagine.
Yes.
Cannot imagine.
Pretty wild. We can talk about one more thing, and then I have a variety of questions afterwards. Should we
cool.
talk about Phil P, the HVAC G?
Phil P, the HVAC G, is amongst my best friends from high school, amongst our crew, is a legend. The ability to answer the call, right?
Yes.
The clarion call to prank. So, for those of you who don't know, the Big Bad Listing Daddy is also known as Phil P, the HVAC G. So, I will, as quickly as possible, do the exposition for how we got to that. I have a friend. He lives in Dallas, Texas. His wife wanted to do a surprise birthday Zoom for him, and in the process, sent a photo of said individual in the kitchen of his house to a group of us from high school. And we immediately start tearing apart everything that's in the photo, including the air vent in the ceiling and the damper. And a bunch of jokes start taking place about air quality, this, that, and the other thing. So we quickly come up with the idea that since this is a surprise Zoom, we can surprise him with a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And that gift would be a virtual HVAC consultation. And so at noon on a Sunday, about 10 of my buddies from high school pop on a Zoom along with
Phil P, the HVAC G.
Phil P, the HVAC G, and I kick things off and I say, Kyle, we're super excited. It's your birthday.
The funnier part is that I texted you earlier and I was like, how long do you think this ruse can go for? And you're like, 15 minutes. I thought I was going to get 2 minutes in and someone was going to tell me to go to hell.
Nope.
And this did not happen at all.
No, quite the opposite. I just introduced it as like, this is a guy, we saw some stuff. We wanted to help you out. So he's going to, I asked him, I do some work with him. I asked him to come on and just talk a little bit about it. And you had done your homework. I mean, you were ready to talk about filtration systems and particle count and all sorts of nonsense.
I brought props with me.
Yeah, he had props. He had filters, and so this thing it just spirals out of control. Basically,
You had to. The best part was that I could see in the Zoom call that you would turn your video off because I think you were laughing.
I was dying. I mean, I was dying laughing because our buddy just like went with it to the extent that he picked up the computer and walked to his actual
furnace.
Yeah, unit
furnace
to
system.
show you, and so it was such a hit, and everybody legitimately still believes that you're a HVAC professional. So much so that for a guy who was on that call, right, who helped coordinate it, the prank, his wife then reached out to me that the thing that would really make his birthday would be a special video from Phil P. the HVAC.
Which I loved. That was the funniest thing I had ever heard. And I made my wife take that video of me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. In the snow.
In the snow.
In February.
In February.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, "Please don't ever make me do this for you again."
Yeah.
One take. It was a good take, though.
It was a great take, and it was there's everybody submitted their videos or whatever, and she built this menagerie, and you were the last one.
Oh, that's nice.
I think.
That's
I'm just gonna
so
say,
funny. Say it anyway.
Yeah, I'm saying it anyway.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Phil P's got. I'm sure I'll probably jump on some more Zoom calls here.
Oh, I mean, you'll be knowing about 46, 45 other people here shortly.
Yeah, that's true.
49 days away.
Yeah. That was another fun conversation I had with my wife. I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go out and party in the woods for 2 days."
Yeah.
And she just stared at me like, "What is wrong with my husband?" But you gotta let this. You gotta let this peacock. You gotta let this peacock fly, or whatever Mark Wahlberg says and the other guys. You gotta let this peacock show its feathers. She just at this point she just lets it happen.
Yeah.
She knows it's gonna happen.
You had such peacocks.
I think you're gonna have some weird thing to say.
Yeah, so they. I've been trying to think about what it is. So the higher up on vegetation, like there's less nitrogen, maybe, and so absence of nitrogen. Let's say it's nitrogen. I don't know if it is. I don't want your fans out there fact checking.
Ooh, the 15 people that actually I'm making a bunch of views from this because KWGM a couple people may pop in to watch it, so we may get a couple more viewers on this one.
But so there's this thing, and it's called an honest signal, right? It like can't be faked. The honest signal, and in nature, in peacocks specifically, the mating is done, but based on the brilliance of the feathers.
Yes.
So let's say it's nitrogen. It exists more at the lower vegetation, right? And so that nitrogen dampens or dulls the color, right? And so the peacocks who are bigger and can eat the vegetation and the foliage higher up have brighter feathers, right? And then that creates that creates like that's their dominance hierarchy. But you can't, as a peacock, you can't fake bright. You can't fake bright feathers, right? It's an honest signal. And I was trying to identify things like that, like in humans, right? Because especially and it was especially like in the real estate industry, right? It's like there's a lot of all the just listed, just solds, right, and all that, like or like people will spend $5,000 a month on Zillow to make $10,000 that month, right?
Yep.
And whatever it is, and so like. What's the honest signal from a business standpoint, right? Now, like from a
real estate side?
Maybe a real estate side of things. So I don't know. I remember I thought about that for longer than someone should, and ended up doing a lot of research on peacocks last year.
Well, I think you just give up on it because, like I said, we've had this conversation even outside of this video. It's just. And it's in every business, and you've worked in a you've worked in a wide variety of places as well as I have. Yep. People put on a view of their business and inner workings vastly different than what it is when you get on the inside. Yeah. And it'll be like that until the end of time. Yeah. And that's why I've always tried to, I've always said my word is about as good as you're going to be able to get. Yep. Because if I can't back that up at that point, then...
Word is bond.
Yeah, word is bond.
That?
I should just be working.
Is that Wu-Tang?
It is Wu-Tang. I should just be not selling things.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, for if you were trying to identify people like that, like what is the honest signal that, people would have that, would be a demonstration of that characteristic. And maybe that's what, it's just another crisis that we have as humans is that we don't have feathers, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have all these other things. And all of the, all of what would be deemed our nature, right, is all, our feathers are all purchasable, right? Like you can go buy,
I can go buy
haircuts and perms and suits
the watch
and the
shoes
you can buy like then that's really the thing. You see the person that drives the nice car, has the nice watch, and it's like everything. I think, and this is like going back to the Enneagram stuff, the 3, the 8, the 5, the 1, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like everything that's important is purchasable, right? And saleable. But then like what are the
actual honest things that are important to people?
Right? What is the brilliance of feather, right? So
Yeah.
that's like what we're trying to find in other people, or trying to identify like with other people. And I guess maybe because we're humans, there's not an easy one.
There isn't an easy one. It's impossible because there's a lot of people that just won't even open up and show their true colors to begin with.
Oh yeah,
I
don't like that.
Yeah, well, you for a great example. I've always been a person that's very open about stuff.
Yeah.
So like if you ask me something, I'm going to give you the most honest answer that you're going to be able to get.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that like you can ask them an uncomfortable question, they won't answer it. I love uncomfortableness. I'll answer this stuff all day long. I thrive in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I feel as though if there's ever a opportunity to be like a press secretary, I mean I can talk without saying anything.
Yes, you'd be perfect at it.
Yeah.
You'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
A1.
Might do what I was custom built to do, right?
So I got a couple of questions before we end.
It's like rapid. This is like the.
It's kind of like a rapid fire thing.
What are those called? What do they call those? Like the final round where everything goes fast. Lightning round.
Lightning round. Yeah. We've got some rapid fire questions. I just like to get honest answers from you at the end, and I probably won't get anything honest with the mirror and matching thing that we've talked about earlier. He'll throw me for a loop.
Yeah.
So if you knew that you were the Earth was just gone tomorrow, what would your final meal be?
Mom's meatloaf.
Mom's meatloaf.
Mom's meatloaf.
What for dessert? Anything for dessert?
Probably cheesecake, but probably more meatloaf.
Just seconds of meatloaf.
Yeah.
Make sure your brothers aren't there so you guys don't have to race.
Yeah, right.
To eat it all.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, gosh, if you're going to say the world ends tomorrow, like it's Mom's meatloaf, but I would want to have it like for lunch, so that then I could have a cold meatloaf sandwich for dinner.
That's great. Like, You put a little barbecue sauce on that bad boy.
Mustard.
Oh, you're a mustard guy. Okay.
Ketchup on hot, mustard on cold.
Okay. I like that. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. I like that answer.
Yeah.
If you were on a deserted island for a year. You're on there for a year, and you've got food and water and everything. Yeah. But you're only allowed one book, one movie, and one TV show to read and watch the entire time. What would those three things be?
The book would be How to Win Friends and Influence People.
I knew it. I knew it.
The movie would be Cool Hand Luke.
Okay.
And the television show would probably be a cartoon.
Some sort of cartoon.
What
kind of cartoon? What kind of cartoons did you watch growing up?
We had Saturday morning was Garfield and Friends, USA Farms. We only had 3 channels, 7, 9, and 44, ABC, NBC, and PBS.
Guernsey County didn't get cable for a while?
We were too far out. In certain storms, we would
pick up some other channels?
Pick up Fox.
Ooh.
So you could get some scrambled Simpsons once in a while. It was amazing. I remember when I'd go stay at my buddies and then they had cable, and it was like, whoa, man, I'm watching The Simpsons, right? But yeah, so those, and then it's funny because I watch almost exclusively cartoons.
I think you mentioned that before.
Yeah. It's because when we were kids, there were, you got one shot. Yeah. It was Saturday morning, and I remember my brothers and I would wake up so early we'd watch the test pattern, waiting for
the cartoon to pop.
Garfield and Friends to roll at 7. So Garfield and Friends was the favorite one.
What if they said you couldn't be the team leader of Keller Williams Grand Metropolitan tomorrow and you could have any dream job in the world, what would it be?
That's a good question.
Right?
I would probably look for the place where I could do the most good, Mike.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
God, I hate that. I hate that answer. That's a terrible answer.
Yeah. Honestly, right now, what I've said is like, if I was financially free tomorrow,
Yes.
right, and I didn't have to work,
Yeah.
I would go be a server or bartender. I mean, I feel like
You would hate the world after a month.
I just feel like the opportunity. I mean, there's just like a dearth of talent in that industry right now, and it's I've had one good experience in the last 6 weeks eating out.
It's not good anymore, and you gotta live with it. At this point, there's nobody there. There's one person serving 40.
I mean, I still feel like I could run 12 to 20 tables, right?
I don't know, man. It sucks. I worked in the kitchen industry for a long time, and
I love the restaurant industry. I love it, and it's also like it's a lifestyle thing. Like,
it's a total lifestyle
you gotta
thing.
get out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it destroys your body. There's no health insurance.
Yep.
There's generally no retirement fund.
No.
You're living. A lot of people that work in kitchens live paycheck to paycheck, and I always like to see people online like, oh, I can't believe they can't find enough people for a kitchen. And I think to myself like, yeah, I used to work like 15 hours in the middle of the summer with no air conditioner.
Yeah.
Serving up steaks to people. Like it sucked.
Yeah.
I had to bring second pairs of clothes to change during mid shifts because I sweated so much.
Yeah.
And look at me.
I mean, you do that now.
I do that now. I have to have second clothes now.
Yeah.
So like I understand why people aren't in the industry because it tears you down. Like Anthony Bourdain's a perfect example. Like he went and got his own made his own TV show because he was sick of working in that restaurant.
It's
because his body was breaking down.
It's like being a realtor.
It's exactly what it is. I always
what is it? Kitchen Confidential.
That's a fantastic book.
Yeah, that's a good book.
It's amazing.
I read that. I remember I read that. That was a good one. Is he dead?
Yes,
he died. Right.
He killed himself.
Anthony Bourdain killed himself?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I just thought he died.
No, I'm pretty sure he killed him. I mean,
a couple years ago?
Yeah, 2 or 3, I think, at this point.
I don't watch the news.
I know you don't. You're a very, very odd man. How come when we go shoot shotguns, you don't shoot guns? I want to watch. It's because you know that some northern boy like me can shoot better than the Guernsey County kid, isn't it?
Oh,
you saw me hit those clays on the sky.
Terrible shot.
Have a terrible shot.
Terrible shot.
What's on the docket for the summer? What's something fun that you're going to do this summer that's not work related that you're going to just?
No, the bash.
The bash. Anything else? Like, do you have you told me one time you went? I think it was like one of your friends' weddings, and you flew down to Cancun for like a night and then flew back.
No, it was actually January of last year. I flew to Costa Rica I was in Costa Rica for 24 hours.
Yeah, you're a crazy person. Just go and spend 3 days somewhere and shut your phone off.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
No, there's one thing that I've learned, because, you and I were texting each other earlier, because I was like, I was out golfing today. And you were like, oh, that must be nice.
Must be nice.
But you know that I work 7 days a week.
I know you do.
I just fill it in at different times.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we talk about the industry, we talk about like benefits of it.
Like after we're done here, I'm going to go show a house.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just something that I have not yet become comfortable with. Like, if I didn't have anything, like talk to people in my role, and it's like, yeah, if I don't have anything in Friday morning, I just don't come until Friday afternoon, and like I'll work from home, or I'll do this, or maybe I'll golf, or whatever. And I'm like, I mean, I got here at like 8:30 this morning, and which is late for me, and my skin was crawling, right? And it's like, to do what? I mean, I had stuff to do, but I mean, obviously, like I could have done it from home, I could have done it from anywhere, but it's just like, I mean, a decade in that corporate environment, I know that I couldn't be successful like. My blood pressure is rising right now thinking about playing golf on a Wednesday afternoon.
I would play devil's advocate and say, I would say that those times away refresh you in a way that you don't realize. I think a lot of people are like that. I think a lot of people, and I was like that for years. I mean, I didn't take my kids on their first vacation until they were 5.
Yeah,
and now
it's a waste to take kids on vacations until I can actually remember
them. Yeah,
it's like, oh, what are the twins going to be for Halloween? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah. They don't remember it.
They're never going to remember that. But I remember going on that vacation, and Mikey loved it so much, and I was like, oh, we got to go every year.
Yeah, man. I think,
and I go to the ocean so that no one can get a hold of me.
Yeah,
because I don't get service there.
Yeah, I mean, my ideal vacation is probably like if I could find a cabin in the woods, right, where you've got to do like a 5-mile, 10-mile backpack in, to get to the cabin.
God, it's so weird that we we test the same exact way because that is the exact opposite. Of something
and
that
then I
like
could
to do.
just be there for 3 days and like whittle. And
that sounds like
write my book.
if there's
write my book.
if there's a purgatory, that's my purgatory.
Oh man.
Here's a bunch of here's a 20-pound backpack. Go march for 10 miles.
20 pounds. I would pack in a bunch of libations, and so I would just hang out. And I could finally put pen to paper on my book.
I can only imagine what Dennis Reynolds' memoirs are going to be like.
No, the book's that I've had the outline for years.
Yeah,
5 years. It's called The Groomsman, and it's about how to be a part of a wedding, and because they think about they don't teach you, right?
No,
Right?
Like
you get one half-assed rehearsal the night before, right?
Yes.
And there's all the other stuff that goes into it, right? And there's etiquette, and there's appropriate things to do and inappropriate things to do, and all that. So I've been a groomsman, best man, usher, officiant 22 times, right?
God, you're like that.
I'm 27 tucks.
Yeah, I was going to say you're like that movie
I am
with what's her face?
Yeah,
From Grey's Anatomy. That
Jennifer Garner.
No, it wasn't her. What's her name?
Katherine Heigl.
Katherine Heigl. I knew she'd know.
That's awesome.
I knew she'd know.
Katherine Heigl could walk in here right now.
And you would know who she was.
I would. Her and Ariana Grande could just be out there waiting for an appointment, and I'd just be like, "Can I help you guys with anything?"
Yeah, you guys. Yeah.
So yeah, man, and so I've got a lot of experience, made a lot of mistakes, had a lot of fun. I've been to over 100 and probably at this point close to 150 weddings.
That also sounds like my nightmare. Although I got my license to wed people, so I got a wedding in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did that last year.
Yeah.
I did that last year for a buddy. It's I tell you,
The big bad minister daddy.
the
BBMD.
big bad marriage daddy, big bad father. You gotta say big.
I gotta put that in.
Yeah, but so anyway, that's what I would do. I think about. I think the other thing you could do is going to another, going out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to do now, but I back when before I transitioned into this career, and I was just trying to convince myself that I didn't hate my life. I was like, oh, I'll be a guy that travels.
That'll be my thing.
That'll be my
guy thing.
That'll be my thing, and it's go to Scotland, all over Europe, Africa, and then it's then I got changed careers, got busy, enjoy the work that I do, and it was oh yeah, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that. So yeah, I'm probably not taking any vacations. I'll take that Friday afternoon off. Friday, July 9th. You will not be able to reach me.
That's true. That'll be a fun 2 days.
Yeah, just the afternoon. I'll work till then.
Of course you will.
Yeah,
of course you will. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
The pleasure was all mine. This was great. This was a lot of fun.
We'll probably do another one.
I was gonna say I want to be a return guest.
Yeah,
I feel like we covered a lot of ground here.
We did, but there's a lot. That's the tip of the iceberg.
There's a lot. I mean, here's what you do. I would love to come back. This has been a lot of fun. When you move to a subscription model, I will be like the BBLD after dark.
Oh, I like that.
And we will. You can ask all of the questions that
all the ones that I'll ask all the questions.
Yes,
that'll be the good. That'll be the.
Yeah. You get out. We
got to get this behind a paywall.
That's right.
That's the other way you
put the paywall up. I will bear all. Paywall, bear all.
That would be like a 4-hour one.
You should do We should do pay-per-view. That's what you should do.
That would cover a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm an open book. You're not. That's why we really like each other. I think.
It's right.
Synergy.
That's right.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Need a lot of this. Need more of this.
If you want to change brokerages, if you want to become a real estate agent,
yeah.
Talk to Mike Repasky.
Yeah. If you know somebody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, talk to Mike.
Thanks, brother.
Good to see you, man.
Nice seeing you.